Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Alan Bingham again, aka Sax-bit, and I just wanted to do another tutorial video for Stage 5-1 Endless Struggle from Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. This time it is for S rank, which is another one of the things that I currently hold the world record for speedrun wise. And I actually like that. This is a new time that I just did a night or two ago that hasn't quite been verified yet, but it is better than my old world record time. So unless somebody comes out of nowhere, this should technically be the new world record fairly soon. But anyway, though, yeah, this this is actually, to me, it's a little bit more fun than the S plus plus run, because instead of running debuff talismans, I can run through this boss rush with buffing talismans. And the two that I use, I think one is called Last Stand, and the other is called something steel. Hold on just a second. Let's fast forward to the end of the video where I show what I have equipped. Sorry for my lack of preparation here. Steel Mind and Last Stance are the two that I use. Steel Mind is really interesting because you basically it reduces the amount of damage you take by 25% when you manually charge a hypercharge attack, which basically means on a full health bar, instead of being able to crank out 5 hypercharge attacks, you can crank out 7. And then Last Stance is also really cool and pairs really well with this, because when you're at low health, your melee damage does 75% more. So basically, the whole point of this is very early on, just blow off all 7 hypercharge attacks, and then basically play perfect the rest of the way, and let Last Stance carry you through, because once again your damage is going to be a whole lot more with Last Stance, because of the 75% boost. So, and you're already going to be at low health because of blowing off all of your hypercharge attacks. And of course, just like in the S plus plus video, um, once again, we're going to be utilizing that glitch. So you're going to get a full health refill after the very first boss, which means instead of getting to use 7 hypercharge attacks, you get to use 14 for the total of all 4 bosses. You're going to use 7 on the first boss. And then I want to get myself to super low health as quickly as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and blow all of the next 7 on the second boss, instead of saving them all for the last boss like I did in the S plus plus video. Also, I'm not going to recap all the boss patterns and stuff like that. I'm going to go ahead and link in the description of this. I'll go ahead and link the the S plus plus video, or you can just simply find it on one of my playlists. But and then also, for that matter, I'm also going to link just the actual full-time run videos for both this and the S plus plus run. And I think that should be about it. So let's go ahead and rewind back here now that I've skipped to the end of the video. Alrighty. So anyway, this first boss is the one that throws flaming rocks and breathes fire and all that stupid stuff. Then another actually, we're gonna do some melee there. Hypercharge, and then another hypercharge, and then bounce. Then do a bunch of melee, then a bunch of melee, and then finish them off with 3 consecutive hypercharge attacks. And that's the game. Now, if you notice, after that very first hypercharge attack, I did a bunch of melee attacks with the kunai, and the reason why is because if you want to finish this off with a hypercharge attack, which is one of the requirements for getting S rank on this, um, which you have to do it on at least one of the bosses, and it's easier just to go ahead and take care of it in this first battle. But because of that, like, every tiny bit of chip damage matters, because you want that very last hypercharge attack to be the killing blow. And I mean, as you can tell, it was like he had a pretty good chunk of health, but also your health is super low. So that 75% extra damage from steel mine definitely kicks in. And yeah, it really helps a lot. Also, and this is a new quick kill that I came up with. But if you're interested, I will link to the video where I did my last world record run on this, which was 2 minutes and 41 seconds instead of 2 minutes and 36 seconds. And I had an alternative quick kill with this guy. And I thought I was saving a ton of time with this because he never goes into a long pattern. There's two long patterns are where he's on one side of the arena or the other and breathes a big bunch of fire. And the other long pattern is when he flies up and goes off screen and then he comes down here, right here in the middle of the screen, and then causes a whole bunch of pillars of fire to come up. So in my old video, which once again, I'll go ahead and link to that in the description. Basically, I'd start out the same. I would do a hypercharge attack. And instead of doing any kind of melee damage, I would just do 3 more hypercharge attacks. So total of 4 hypercharge attacks right off the get. And then when he would fly at me, I would bounce off of him with the oh gosh, what's it called? The guillotine bounce. There we go. I'd go ahead and do the guillotine boost off of his head, bounce up here on the platform, and he throws rocks, so you got to jump. Basically, all the same kind of stuff that you just saw. But then, if you notice in this video, I did just as many melee attacks as I possibly could before he flew to this side of the screen. And then I did a bunch of melee attacks before finishing off with 3 hypercharge attacks. In my old video, in the old quick kill, which honestly was a little bit easier, I would come over, I would be hanging here, and off here to the left, I would fire specifically 3 hypercharge attacks. Or sorry, not 3 hypercharge, 3 melee attacks. Then I'd do hypercharge, hypercharge, and then spam as many hypercharge attacks as I could before he flies up off screen. And this is where he, adds a little bit of time by going off screen. And then he comes down here in the very center, does the pillars of fire thing. But by that point, you can just finish him off with a single hypercharge attack because you've already done 2 hypercharge attacks over here on the left side of the screen. So anyway, but because of the fact that with this current quick kill, he never goes off screen, I was like, okay, this is clearly faster. And it technically is. But last night, I actually recorded the time difference, and there's really only a 1 second time save. And the reason why there's only a 1 second time save is I'm doing a lot more of my melee damage before Steel Mind kicks in because my health isn't low enough. So my melee damage isn't doing as much damage. So because I'm not blowing off, as many hypercharge attacks early on. So, it basically, if it's easier for you, because honestly, this quick kill definitely was trickier. I was able to do the other one a lot more consistently. So you're really only looking at about a 1 second time save doing this. So once again, check out my other video that I'm going to link in the description, and just decide what you think is easier for you to deal with. Anyway, on to the next boss. This is the big pregnant alien looking demon that does the weird little squid alien ball things. So basically with this, I'm just going to fire off all my hypercharge attacks and be mindful of when you trigger one of the hypercharge attacks that she gets from you, because if you're mashing too much, you'll actually lose it. But anyway, from this point forward, for the rest of this boss rush, now my health is super low, we're going to be doing all melee and going super aggro no matter what. And obviously that was super quick because, like I said, I fired off all my hypercharge attacks right from the get. So we've used all 14 hypercharge attacks, and we've got to play perfect the rest of the way. So Raibashi, this third boss, is going to be dodging the lightning balls and going as aggro as humanly possible. And actually, that's kind of funny. If you remember in my S++ tutorial video, I was talking about not going too aggro on her because you would trigger her slow pattern earlier. But since you're already doing so much melee damage now because of that talisman, it really doesn't matter. So go absolutely, stay on her. Pay attention, like roll, basically the very beginning of the fight, roll to the center of the arena so that you can start firing up at her, and then pay attention to which direction she goes and immediately roll over to that and start just pounding away at her. So yeah, go as aggro as you possibly can with this fight. Another thing too that my buddy Ednolium was pointing out is when you knock her out with a hypercharge attack, which of course you're only going to get from the demon spikes with this because you no longer have enough health to manually charge it yourself. You can actually stand where her body is, which I've already been doing anyway. But in order to, similar to the stutter step, you can actually just just rock back and forth, just go back, left to right, left to right, left to right, while standing over her body, and you can do a lot of basically stutter step damage. Oh, and that was another thing too. If you notice in that second fight against the weird pregnant alien looking boss, I did a lot more stutter stepping when I went into my melee stuff. Once again, you blow off all your hypercharged shots by clinging onto the wall. That way you don't have to worry about wasting time with dodging and stuff. You can just blow off all the hypercharged shots really, really free and clear. But then once you get on the ground, stutter step as much as you possibly can because you will get more damage in more quickly with those kunai. But anyway, the only stutter stepping we're doing on this boss with Raivashi is just when you knock her out with a hypercharge attack, stand where her body is and go left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, while using her kunai, and she will get a lot more damage in. Which, let me rewind it just so you can see that a little bit better. But then after that, it's just be super aggro. So let me rewind it. I'll tell you what I do here. See how much damage that did. Another thing too, after she gets up from that, go ahead and start firing up, and right before she's about to take off, since she's going to go from left to right here, which she can sometimes be on the right screen and go from right to left, but when you know which direction she's going to go, keep firing upwards and start taking off just a little bit early. And that way you can basically do damage to her throughout the entire duration of her flight across the screen. Let's go ahead and rewind that again so you can see that. See? Like I only missed the last little bit of it. And now her health is super, super low. And I did some more teabagging to be arrogant. Alright, so now she's going to do the 3 energy ball pattern. And then she's going to do the melee attack thing. And just go aggro and mash as much as you possibly can while charging at her, because you'll go faster than charging at her. And I never let her get to the 3 demon spike pattern. So, and that's where you want to end this fight. Sometimes it's going to end it after her second swipe. I wasn't able to do it on this run. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this boss a little bit. So, one thing that I've noticed is while the first boss and Raivashi, the third boss, are the 2 easiest to predict patterns and manipulate their patterns and stuff. Not as much RNG. Like the only RNG really with Raivashi is what part of the screen she flies to or whatever. But outside of that, she's pretty easy to predict. But that weird alien looking boss, that's the second boss, and then this boss, there's a lot more RNG, and where most of the RNG comes from is you getting your hypercharge energy from them. So the weird little things I call squid balls for that second boss, and then these crystals that this guy chucks at you. You never know if he's going to be jumping at or over you, or if he's going to be chucking crystals at you. And even if he does chuck crystals at you, it may not be in a convenient place for you to destroy the crystal and get the hypercharge energy. So very unfortunately, a lot of good runs can get totally screwed up with this boss. I spent hours trying to grind out this 236 run and beat my 241. And a lot of it had to do with this boss. Like, I felt like I had the first three bosses down pat, even though there was some degree of RNG for the second boss. But this one, it's just like, not only is there a lot of RNG, but you've got to be super careful because, as I mentioned in my last video, he has got a massive hitbox. And also, just seems like you tend to randomly run into his crystals by accident as well. And these crystals, you got to be you got to get to them to be able to get the hypercharge energy out of them. So anyway, it's kind of a pain, and like I said, it's very unfortunate that a lot of runs can end here, and you just have to restart, and whatever, it is what it is. And once again, you're doing this like, if you get hit by him, you're going to die because you have got the smallest sliver of health left after blowing all your hypercharge attacks. But thankfully, on the flip side of all this, the fight didn't have to last as long as it does in an S++ run because, once again, you've got Steel Mind equipped. So you're going to be doing 75% more melee damage. So there's that. But anyway, like I said, he's a little bit less predictable. It's harder to manipulate his patterns. Thankfully, in this fight, I do one really cool thing was like he's got one of those jumping off screen attacks. He jumps off screen and then he's off for a second or two and then comes down and just causes a big huge earthquake and some environmental damage can hurt Kumori. But prior to him coming down, he throws some crystals down, et cetera, et cetera. Well, since him jumping off screen is so time consuming, I wanted to prevent it. And thankfully, I was able to get some hypercharge energy early on, right when he was about to jump off screen, and I was able to prevent it. So he did eventually jump off screen, but I basically prevented one of the two, which was a time saver. But anyway, enough talking. You can just go ahead and watch how this plays out. All melee, no manual charge hypercharge attack. There's a hypercharge attack from the crystal, melee, there's some stutter stepping if you notice. And, oh, and by the way, when he charges at you, it actually is a little bit better it's a little bit more of a time saver and potentially able to cause more damage if you roll through it. But once again, his hitbox is huge, so the roll has to be super precise. A lot more precise than it is rolling through Ravashi's melee attack. So, just to be honest, I kind of pansy out a little bit and just do a guillotine bounce off of his head. But, feel free if you want to get a little extra aggro with it, roll through his charging attack. Anyway, it looks like, I guess I misremembered it. I'm pretty sure I did stop one of his jumping off screen attacks. Maybe I imagined it, but anyway, but obviously I didn't stop this one. But the good news is I'm going to get a hypercharge crystal off of this one, so we'll see how this goes. Super aggro, super aggro. Okay, so apparently I lied to you guys. Sorry about that. I could have sworn that I stopped him from jumping off screen. But regardless, though, I mean, that ended up being a really good run. Like, I didn't miss any of the hypercharge crystals that came my way. So I was able to take full advantage of that. And then just the rest of it's just proper dodging and being super aggro with the stutter stepping so that you can get more melee damage in. And by the way, like, I am well aware of the fact that if you're just straight up running from one side of the screen to the other, that her melee damage or her melee attacks go a lot faster then as well. But as Ednolium very courteously pointed out to me in the Discord, the purpose of stutter stepping is being able to take advantage of that in a smaller space. Like, sometimes you're not able to just straight up run from one end of the screen to the other and just fire off really quickly. Now with that melee attack with Raivashi, you are, because you're just going to keep running until she swipes at you and you're going to dodge roll and then, rinse, wash, and repeat. With this though, like, his attacks take a little bit longer to start up sometimes. And so basically, if you run up on him too quickly, you're going to get hit. So it is a little bit smarter to stutter step and once again take advantage of the faster melee attacks from that. But anyway, though, so yeah, so that's the best kill I was able to pull off with this guy. And as you can tell, it is a 236, you know, with an S rank. So anyway, and once again, just a reminder. Let's go ahead and fast forward to the equipment. Dadgummit. There we go. So yes, Steel Mind and Last Dance. Just once again, these two, I think, for just about any kind of an S rank run, unless you're trying to cheese an S rank and just maybe not hit all the requirements for a stage while using debuffing talismans, you know, that's its own type of thing. And I shouldn't say cheesing, that's kind of derogatory. That's just a totally different play style. But if you're specifically playing with the intent of hitting all the stage requirements and getting an S rank in that manner, I'll be real with you. I am not sure that there is a better combination than these two talisman. Really, like the Steel Mind and Last Dance are an excellent pairing. But if anything, they're really great for bosses. Which, you know, with a stage that's entirely boss rushes, then hey, that's great. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Hopefully, this is a helpful tutorial. I know that as per usual, I talked a whole heck of a lot, but you know, those are the breaks. That's just how I am. I'm a bit loquacious. But that's it. Until the next time, I hope you guys just keep on, you know, playing Ragebound and enjoying my videos. Later, guys. Bye.